Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. In this tutorial we are going to be making a tumbler we have made before, but with the Motherhood layered decal that has been highly requested. First, we are going to check out the Gracefully Created Brittany Bundle Vol.5. We do these with Gracefully Created every month. I pick out the designs, Judy over at Gracefully Created prints them, and they are released at the first of every month. This bundle will be released at gracefullycreatedccd.com March 1st at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. I'll list that website and the group below so you can stay up to date on this bundle and the future ones to come. This is one of my favorite patterns in the whole bundle, and we are going to be cutting about 5.5 inch strip for a 32 ounce plump from the steel Magnolia. Once I have that trimmed, I just make sure that it is nice and straight, and then I wrap it around my tumbler to also make sure it is going to line up correctly on my tumbler. Now this vinyl is matte and removable, so it's super easy to work with versus a glossy permanent vinyl. So if you do have air, you can just pull it right off, put it back onto that paper backing and retrim if necessary. One of the amazing things that I love about Judy's vinyl. But once I have verified that it will line up around my tumbler, I trimmed off a little excess of that backing, pushed that down in place once I had it lined up, and then just worked my way around the tumbler, slowly pushing it onto the stainless and pushing that back off of the vinyl. Once I have met the starting point of my vinyl, I just sort of press down so I can see that seam, and then I trim right alongside of it with my craft knife. Then I pull out the slither out from underneath so you won't be able to see that little bevel, and make sure my vinyl is laid down nice and flat. Now to paint the tumbler, you can use spray paint, but this time we are going to be using the FLIPN Awesome paints from CRYSTALAC company. So I'm not having to protect the entire piece of vinyl, I'm just taping off the top and bottom portions of it. If you do spray paint, make sure that you put something in between these pieces of tape to protect your vinyl. The glitter that we are using is BORDEAUX from PDB Creative Studio, so we're going to try to match that color or get as close as possible to it. I'm using Slate Gray, Plum Purple, and Crimson from CRYSTALAC company. I just mix those together, and then I will use a makeup brush to apply this paint to my tumbler. This only took one coat. I brushed my heat gun very lightly over it without applying too much heat so that I can quickly dry it and move along into the next step. It's been a while since I used the epoxy method to apply my glitter, so we're going to do that in this tutorial. I'm only using about a milliliter of ARTISTRY's 1:1 ratio fast set epoxy. I'm spreading that onto the tumbler very thin, making sure that I do get right around those tape lines. Sometimes it's a little hard to get in that teeny tiny bevel. And once I have that spread all around my tumbler, I just take the palm of my hand and tap all the way around. This helps actually give a little bit of texture to the epoxy, and it will not show streaks whenever you immediately apply your glitter. Once again, this is BORDEAUX from PDB Creative Studio. It is a gorgeous plum purple, and I felt like it really complemented the florals that are in our vinyl design. Now this is not a chunky glitter, it is a fine XL, a .015 cut but I always still like to press down my glitter. I just roll it in a piece of paper, press that down a little bit, and it helps avoid adding too many layers of epoxy on that initial glitter coverage. This one will only take one coat before we can move into adding our decals on. I gave this about 4 hours to dry and then went in with 2 coats of Rust-Oleum matte clear coat to seal in my glitter, and then did 1 coat of Artistry's 1-to-1 fast set epoxy. Now I went glitter shopping and I did realize that BORDEAUX was currently out of stock, so I wanted to show y'all an alternative. This is Meditation, also from PDB Creative Studio, and as you can see, it is the most beautiful sage green ever. PDB Creative Studio has restocks every week, so if you are not a part of their group, definitely join in so you can be updated on restocks. And if I ever use a glitter that is not currently in stock, I can promise you it will be very shortly. They stay on top of things over there, and it is worth the wait. Alright, so to add our offset to our decal, I have imported the image and I went to offset and did 0.035. I'm going to move the original image over, select the offset, and then create another 0.035 offset of the offset. I highlight them all and select one single color so I can cut them all on the same board and pick the colors coordinating with my tumbler and cut those out. The vinyl that I'm using is TeckWrapcraft. They have some really unique colors. The vinyl is nice and thin, so it's easy to layer without having to add too many layers of epoxy on top, and it removes from the backing really easy, even on the thicker textured vinyls like you see in the top right corner. Now, I know this is completely unusual for a tutorial, but it is so fitting for the phrase of the decal, and I wanted to give you a little insight of what goes on behind the scenes while I am doing my recording. And I have my little one at home with me, and of course, not using epoxy. Baby, you're literally making me shake, kid. You're talking so much. Stop. I'm trying to focus. Baby Grace. Stop. You know what this sticker says? It says, losing my mind, growing my heart, one child at a time.
That is me.
You think so?
Yeah.
So that was Ava. Most of you, if you are part of my Brittany Barnes Boutique group, you have heard about her. She is usually right by my side, asking questions and making tons of suggestions. So anyway, back to the tutorial. I am adding on a couple of thin strips of this gold textured vinyl. This is cut to 0.012 and the thin strip I will be using is cut to 0.008. I'm just adding these along the seam of the top and the bottom of my vinyl and added on the little extra strip on top just to give it a little extra. And I apologize, I did not record trimming those top 2 pieces. I kept having to move my cup away from the camera, away from the ring light. It was just messing with my eyes that day. So I did trim the vinyl so that it did not overlap each other, as you will see me do that on the bottom. Now to line my decal up, I usually place the seam of my vinyl towards the back, stand my cup straight up, and then add on my decal lay it down, and then press it down really well. When you are using multiple layers of vinyl, you definitely want to give it a little extra attention and make sure that it is lying nice and flat and it's not bubbled up anywhere. You can, just as an added precaution, take some Rust-Oleum matte clear coat and seal that in just to ensure it's not going to lift in any areas, but I did not on this one. I went straight in to adding another layer of Artistry's 1-to-1 fast set epoxy. Normally, I would have allowed this coat to dry overnight so I could sand the top and bottom rims in the morning and then add on a final layer of epoxy. However, for the purpose of this video, I only had one coat on these before I took my video for the tutorial, but make sure that you do at some point sand around your rim to expose a little bit of that stainless so that you get a nice good seal with your final coat of epoxy. If you have not seen me do that before, I just recently uploaded a beginner's tutorial, so definitely go check that out and see how I sand the top of my tumblers so that I can get that nice seal around the top. And here is the final result. I hope that y'all enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions for me, just drop them in the comments below. All of the products that I have used will be in the description box. And don't forget, the Gracefully Created Brittany Bundle Volume 5 will be dropping March 1st, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. The bundles are at a discount, so it's awesome if you can snag one of those, but if you don't, she will release them later on in the week individually at regular price. The decal that I used in this tutorial will be available for free in my Brittany Barnes Boutique Epoxy Tumbler art group, and I also will be giving away one of these bundles over Instagram and my Facebook group, so be sure to join and follow. Like and subscribe to my channel and hit the bell in the corner to be notified anytime a new tutorial drops. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you next time.